Welcome to the Journeyman Cave, a podcast where we meet and chat with some of boxing's most seasoned road warriors, hosted by Mark Shakespeare and Chris Scarfe.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Journeyman Cave. This is a podcast where myself, Chris Scarfe, and my very good friend Mr. Mark Shakespeare will be speaking to a variety of fighters, boxers, some former, some current, and I suppose we should probably make a start, Mark, what is a journeyman?
Quite simply, somebody who don't get recognised very much, but is very vital in the sport, and the sport for me wouldn't be able to survive without them. These are the guys fighting week in, week out, and the phone goes and they've been asked to go to a fight on that evening, and it's just a drop of an hat, really. And without people like these guys, the sport would be dead. I just think to get these guys a voice would be really good, because there's nothing else out there, I don't think, that gives the away corner a voice. Yeah. And I do believe if one person can go away with this, just knowing what these guys do at the end of it, I'll be happy with that, mate.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to doing this.
Well, me as well. I mean, full disclosure, Mark is the boxing aficionado of the pair of us, but he's taken me to a few boxing fights, hasn't you? To Metrodome and to Sheffield. We've been to see a few local lads, and I've always enjoyed it. There's always a bar. It's always been a good laugh, and you know all these guys, and it was a bit of a surprise to me since we've been mates for like 30 odd years. And like, how do you know all these people? I said, these guys would be brilliant to speak to, because think of the stories, and we know we've got some people lined up, some great stories to hear. And being the first episode, we have Peter Dunn.
We most certainly have, mate. And to be fair, we've started off with a cracker, really, haven't we?
Yes.
121 fights. He's told me before he's never been KO'd, only stopped on his feet. He's very happy about that. One of the first reasons I got Peter in was because I was speaking to a friend of mine who I go for a drink with so often, former British champion, Derek Roach. And as soon as I said I was doing this, and he said he'd back me on it, he says, "You do it, Mark, it'll be a good thing." The first thing he said to me, his words were, "You need to get Peter Dunn on there."
Yeah.
So to get him on the first episode, I'm really looking forward to it, really. Yeah. And I think he will give us a massive insight to go on forward.
Absolutely.
And I think it'll be a brilliant one for listeners out there to listen to for a first up, to get a good idea of what a journeyman is.
We went to meet him, didn't we, in Pontefract. We speak about this on the episode. We'll not repeat it. But I really enjoyed meeting Peter and speaking to him and hearing his stories. So I suppose we may as well crack on and let everybody have a listen to Peter Dunn.
Yeah, let's get him in, mate.
Peter Dunn, welcome to the Journeyman Cave, the first guest that we've had so far, so thank you very much. How are you doing?
Very good, mate.
We've met Pete a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
Yeah.
We went to sunny Pontefract to meet Pete for a few beers. Tell him where we went, what happened, Mr. Shakespeare.
Well, I never knew it had 3 train stations, that's for sure.
Pontefract's got 3 train stations. Who knew?
I mean, I went online waiting for him, and he's there. "You're not here, Mark." I said, "We are, we're here."
We were.
Well, you can't be, I'm here, so online. But obviously, I didn't know there was a Monkhill at next stop.
Pontefract, Monkhill, where we went, and took us to a rather nice establishment.
You went to Tanshelf instead of Monkhill.
Is that where we went?
That's what I did.
I'm blaming him. I was following him. So I had no idea. Like,
but my fault that I missed train home as well, then.
Yeah, that was your fault. I suppose best thing to do is, mate, is to tell us how you got into boxing, how you started out.
Well, firstly, I started boxing at 10-year-old. I was boxing for SYD Amateur Boxing Club. I loved it down there, stayed boxing all the way through my school life. I was Yorkshire champion 10 years running. I got to North Eastern Counties Championship about 4 or 5 times. And I got to quarterfinals at British twice.
Wow.
Nice.
And I was doing pretty well as an amateur. I thought I was doing really good. And then when we turned senior, that's when drinking started and there were less boxing going on. And my friend, Peter Carragher, he went professional. And I'd been out drinking with my mates. And I woke up in hospital absolutely covered in scrabs and everything. I'd basically been run over. But I had no idea what had gone on. And he says, "Oh, come down to the gym and we'll see if he'll let you train." And I'm like, "Well, obviously not today, but I went with him and I met Mick Marsden looking like this. I was saying, "No, I don't normally look like this," sort of thing. And he took me on as pro. Training was a totally different ball game, obviously.
Yeah, imagine.
From training 3 times a week, an hour at a time, to every single day. It were a different world being professional, but when you're doing it every day, you pick more things up.
Yeah, of course.
But obviously, when you're 11, you learn 100 times more than you do when you're 21.
You're a sponge,
Yeah.
aren't you, when
So-
you're a kid?
I've took so much knowledge about boxing in through my life. And then when you become a professional, and I would say after about 10 fights, it was then when I was urged to be a journeyman. I don't think a lot of people realise what journeyman is, because you're not going in there to win. You're not expecting to win. And the people that you're boxing aren't expecting you to win. But you've got to put up a fight.
Yeah.
Or the better fight you put up, the better the fight is.
Yeah, of course.
Because obviously, if you're just going to chuck yourself on the floor at first opportunity, it's not good to watch.
No.
And it's the British public that are paying all this money to watch these fights. And I've always thought like that. If you're going to do it, you've got to do it right.
Yeah.
So for a professional at 10, 11 fights, and I'm getting to box on Sky and stuff like that after a few fights, and it were all like glamorous to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a different world.
Yeah, man.
Well, you must be, mate, yeah.
So how old were you when you turned pro?
I think I was about 26, something like that.
Right.
Well, it's still like, mid-20s, mate. It's not like you went straight
Yeah.
into it from 18, 19,
No,
is
because
it?
I didn't really have a senior career
Yeah.
as an amateur. All my career was as a junior.
Yes.
Yeah.
And as soon as it got to 17, 18, there were other priorities I had.
Yeah.
Of course.
Stella and stuff. and women.
Yeah, obviously.
I had at least 3-4 years off without doing anything. And when I first went pro, it was hard because I were working at the same time, obviously, but I weren't earning because I hadn't had a fight.
Yeah.
So I didn't earn any money, so it were all pay out. It were all getting lifts to training. My mum used to take me to training. My mum's a godsend. Without her,
Yeah.
I'd have been done.
She picked up train station, oh,
Yeah,
didn't
she did pick me up from train station, yeah. She's still at it, like, she's 70
I
now.
bet she
and
got
still
rate one
at
and
it.
all.
I bet she got right one,
Yeah, she'll have got rated, definitely. When you first turn professional, that glamour's not there. There isn't that glamour. You're just waiting for your first fight. And I think my first fight, I might have got 300. I was earning more than that for a week's work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was working at Power Station at the time. So it was just like a bit of an extra, but I owed most of it out because I'd borrowed it. You know what I mean? So my first 5-6 fights, there were 300 and 400 quid fights.
Yeah.
And that's basic. That was 2 weeks' wages for me back then.
When you got that first pro fight, what were your goals?
I wanted to have a go.
Yeah, defo.
And my limits were up there somewhere.
Well, your amateur career were, we weren't bad, mate.
So I didn't care what had happened. I just thought, let's have a go. Because if I get fit, because that was always my problem, as soon as I want beer and that, was fitness.
Yeah.
It's a different level of fitness. Even though I was loads fitter than I was when I was amateur, I still want that level fit. And that took some getting used to. Because obviously, when you're tired and you've got nothing left, then you've got to learn how to survive.
Yeah.
That's a totally different way of learning what I've never learned before.
Yeah.
Because as a kid, I was doing 3 1-minute rounds and 3 1.5-minute rounds. I'd never ever done anything more than 3 rounds, and I think 2 minutes is the longest I'd ever done.
Wow.
And then to be doing 4 3s, which were an extra minute on a round and an extra round on top. When you first start, that sort of thing, you do 6 2s or 4 3s. That's a different ball game.
Yeah.
Just that extra round makes loads of difference.
It doesn't sound much, does it? But
No, but
bet you could-
but
bet
when
you
you're
know
punching
about
a
it.
bag constantly, you'll know
yeah,
about
of course.
how it is. I started off doing 6 2s, and then it was more for Sky shows or more important shows that got you on 4 3s. 6 2s, when you're first doing 6 rounds, that's like, wow.
Yeah.
From doing 3 before you're doing double, I found it hard towards end of fights. And then doing 4 3s, I found easier because it's a steadier pace.
Right.
Your 6 2s, you've got 2 minutes to impress and win that round.
Yeah.
So you're at it.
Yeah.
Whereas your 3s, you can let your class show through you.
Yeah, I get that.
And it's more relaxed and more steady. So a lot of the Sky fights and stuff, when they're getting smaller fights on, do it on 4 3s rather than 6 2s. It's like Saturday and Sunday football.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
On Sunday morning, you'll get kicked all over. There's no time to do out On a Saturday, you've got time to have a touch and pass it to whoever.
Definitely.
It's exactly the same thing. It doesn't matter how good you are as such. It's more to do with who's done the most in that round.
Landed most.
And I feel that the 3-minute rounds, that's when the class comes through and you can see. And I think that's why they do it on Sky as well, so that these rushing in that are just flying with their arms, and there's somebody there that knows everything, what they're doing and good at boxing. That person who's boxing, he'll show through.
Yeah, and they always said, don't they, like on alt shows on telly, they'll say, oh, final minute's coming up now, this is where it matters and when they're going to catch judges' eyes.
Yeah.
Like you've just said there, you can maybe have a minute off, just pacing yourself, and you know that minute and a half at the end what judge is going to catch.
Well, in a lot of fights, you could have a good 30 seconds at front and a good 30 seconds at end and win every round.
Yes.
Even though you've lost all that bit in the middle. Nobody cares about that bit in the middle. It is like that. But, I mean, judging, refereeing and stuff, especially for journeymen, when you're refereeing somebody who's had 60 fights and lost 50 of them, and you know he's a journeyman, whereas this lad's on his third fight and he's up and coming, why would you?
Yeah.
Why would you? I've had lots of fights where I thought, well, I've done enough here, me.
Yeah.
And you haven't won a round. And it's like, that's frustrating.
Yeah.
Because obviously when it gets announced 60-54, you're just like, what?
Yes, definitely.
I at least won a couple of rounds, you know what I mean? And 64 means you haven't won out. If you look down my list, there's a lot of 60-54s. And it's not that you want to win. It's not about that. It's a bit of credit.
Yeah, we'll come out with something to show for it.
Yeah. I think that's one thing that I have got against some better opponents. I haven't been 60-54. I've been 59-58 and 59-57s. That means I was in it.
Yeah.
Against good people. And that's always
Oh, certainly.
That's something to be, you can take to...
You should be very proud of that record, mate. 121 fights. It's not to be sniffed about at all, mate. And there's some great names on there.
It is.
And I'm going to mention one to you now, Michael Jennings.
He were a different ball game. By that point, I was a journeyman and I knew what we're doing. Because obviously when you're a kid, you're learning boxing. And I've learnt my boxing. This was something different. I'm learning how to survive and how to keep out of the way. And it's a totally different type of boxing.
Yeah.
But equally as hard. And normally there's tricks and little bits that you can get out. So if he's coming on, you'll just duck her head or you'll do something to get out of the way. Michael Jennings, he just had something that I didn't.
Yeah.
Because it was like every fourth punch, it was just like, how is he hitting me with that?
Yeah.
Because I know what I'm supposed to be looking for. And I just could not understand how he were hitting me with this punch. And it was like, he's doing it again? How on earth?
Yeah.
Because normally you'd be like, well, I've just got to block there and then I'm all right. It would just catching me with shots that I've not been caught with before.
Yeah. And like you said, you learnt your trade then as well, haven't you?
Yeah, I knew what I was doing then.
You must have picked up some tricks, Peter, though. You know.
Oh, definitely.
When you decide to come a journeyman, you know what I mean? You must
just talk us to like that moment of thinking, right, this is what I'm going to do now. Because you, like you said, I think you were, 10 fights in?
Yeah, but I still didn't know what I was doing as far as being a journeyman. And basically, my manager said to me, you're still going to try, you're still going to work hard. He says, but you've not got to win because that's not what you're there for.
Yeah.
That's how he described it to me. And then I took my perspective of what that meant. And I always thought, well, let's have a go. And then when I'm tired, I'll deal with that when I'm...
Yeah. And
there was no sort of plan. You know what I mean? So when it got to round 4 and stuff, and I was doing 6-3s, it was like, well, I'm on my arse here, I've got no left. And he's telling me everything in corner 8. Your eyes cut, you this eye, you need to start moving your head. I know, but I'm knackered. and you're all on speaking to him, you know what I mean? So you have to learn tricks at trade and how to hold and stuff. But inside, especially with being small like I am, you'll get pushed down a lot.
Yeah.
So when I'm coming in, I'll duck, and then they'll put their hand on the back of my head. So I'm staring at the feet, or I'm staring at the floor. So then, at that point, you'd either stay there and get absolutely mullered because you don't know where they're coming from, you can't see, or you learn. And that's what I did. I looked at the feet, and you can't throw a punch without moving your feet.
Yeah.
And I was stuck there with their hand over my head, and I was just watching. As soon as they moved their feet, ducking that out. So you know that when the punch is coming. It's just little things like that if you don't know them things, you are in trouble. Because it's more to do with fitness with me. I'd go for it, and then when I'd run out of energy, 4, 5 and 6, it was like, I'll hold on for dear life here. and it's not that easy. It's not, to hold is not easy.
No.
It's not an easy thing to learn. It's not an easy thing to do, because you've got to get in past their punch so that you're that side and you can grab them. You can't just go up and grab them. That doesn't work. So you've got to wait till they punch, make them miss. But while making them miss, you've got to be on front forward, so you're too close. So you're holding them, you've got your arm in here, and you're just going like that, ref, and he'll get a warning for holding, and it's me that's holding. It's just little things.
Tricks like that, yeah.
And sometimes when it does come off, you just giggling to yourself as well.
Yeah, it's your average punter wouldn't know that, would they? They just see people clinching and then separate.
You're clinching because you're tired, mainly, or clinching is a defence. Because when you're up close, even at the start of a fight, if you get up to that bit, you've got to put your arms in right places, or you're defenceless.
Yeah.
If they get you and you're like that, all they've got to do then is just smack your right face and you're stuck like that.
Yeah.
Clinches happen all the way through every fight. You will always get in a clinch, because there's always that time that you've gone to do that and he's gone to do that, and then you've clashed.
Yeah.
So when you clash, you have to put your arms in right position every single time, or if you don't, you've a chance of getting your arms caught where they can just do what they want and you're stuck there.
Of course.
How long do you stay for a fight then, mate? Were it every week you were fighting?
After about 20 fights, it was at least every month.
Yeah.
And then sometimes twice a month. I think I boxed a lot more towards the end of my career. That wasn't enough every week.
I bet it was like a routine for you to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And a wage, you want an extra wage on top.
Yeah, that was the thing. It was an extra wage, and it was part of life.
Did you see same kind of lads on circuit then round you? Did you have 3 or 4 fighters round?
Yeah.
At the time?
Daniel Thorpe, Paul Royston, especially because my trainer and their trainer got on, so we always sat together, and me and Thorpe would be outside having a fag together.
Oh, I've heard about this.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to get
Obviously, I didn't smoke.
He needs to come on, does Thorpe.
Yeah.
I think he's scared.
He's got a lot to answer for. Is all I'm saying.
Well, he's going to get found out. He needs to come on.
Yeah.
I've heard you were your fag partner. Ain't showers want it, mate.
Well, it's been worse. There's been worse stories than that.
Oh,
But we'll not go on them.
No, I don't think we should.
No.
We might be in real trouble.
So any other notable names who stood out in your middle of your career? Or...
Atten's brother.
Oh, yeah.
Matthew.
Matthew.
He was strong as a bull.
Right.
Yeah. I were all right with everything else about the fight, but I was just getting chucked all over. And I didn't get pushed about.
No.
Because I was small and stocky anyway. He just seemed to have man strength. Even though we were both men, he was just 10 times stronger than me.
Didn't have a bad career, did he?
No, not at all. I've boxed since I was 11, and I have learnt how to box. I was now learning something totally different. And when somebody like him or like Michael Jennings comes along, and it's like, well, I know what I'm doing, and he's still doing it.
Yeah.
That's the sort of thing where you just think, yeah, he's special, these lads.
Well, they're few and far between, though, Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. I know you boxed Woodhouse twice, didn't you?
Yeah.
Nah, he were always looked strong as a bull.
He was strong, yeah.
He always looked very fit.
He was 100% fit. Obviously, he'll have been fit as it was from football.
Yeah.
It was fitness that stood out. It wasn't his boxing as such.
Did you see a massive improvement from first to second?
1,000,000%, yeah. But obviously, there were a couple of years between it, and he'd won British title and stuff in between. The difference, it's not even close, you know what I mean? I think I was his first or second fight. Yeah. So you wouldn't expect, because he'd been a footballer, so you wouldn't expect him to come straight in and know everything about boxing. He was just fit. And when I last boxed him, he was fit and he knew how to box.
Yeah.
That was the difference.
You do learn your trade, don't you, like you said?
Yeah, you've got to. Depending on what sort of job you're doing in that trade, you have to learn that again, because I'd learned how to box from 11-year-old, so I was quite confident about that. It was learning how to be a journeyman.
Yeah. And
people just don't understand, because if you've got a lad who's had 120 fights and he's lost 100 of them, it's shit. That is what you look at. But if you watch him and you see that he's putting a good fight up against British champions, world champions, he can't be shit.
No.
Explaining that to people, it's just...
Well, this
it's
is
very hard.
exactly why we're doing it, Peter, mate. I mean, I think your guys need a voice. If at least one person comes out on this, when I've interviewed a few, and you and Scarfe as well, hopefully a few people will see you in a different light. Because the game's nothing, mate.
Well, that's it. You look at some fights and you see them chucking themselves on the floor and you just think, well, what point of that?
There's a lot of that, do you
I think there's well, obviously when it gets to heavyweights and stuff, I wouldn't want one of them either.
No.
But I think a lot do stay down. I mean, if you get put on your ass, you'll stay there. I've no problem with that. If you know what you're doing and you've moved out of the way and you know you haven't been hit.
Yeah, go looking for it. I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? There's people that do go on floor with them and they know what they're doing, so they're moving backwards. So you're taking the impact away and they'll still go down. That's not something I've never been able to understand.
I mean, there's still a few guys in game, I think, like Seamus Devlin and people like that.
There's definitely people that have still got
but
the
there's
heart.
I don't think there's not as many as you're about.
No.
And
I think it were rife with them sort of people when I was boxing.
yeah.
But it's same with any sport. In football, you could just kick anybody when in the 80s.
Yeah.
You can't touch them now, and
Yeah.
and they're rolling around as though they're dead. Everything evolves, and safety has come into it a lot. It wasn't right that you kick people up in the air, obviously, especially when they're professional sportsmen. And it was the same at boxing. Maybe you shouldn't have to take as many punches as some of us did. But I think it's more down to personal's heart and how much they want it.
But I do think now, like you said when you were younger and you had Thorpe and that around you and stuff, I still think now there is about 6 or 7, a cluster of them now, who are all good friends like you were.
Yeah, you've got to have things like that. I would go into a show on my own. I didn't have my trainer with me. He was having some young lad that needed him more than I did, whereas I was just going for another fight. So I'd go and sort myself out. And when you got there, you're like, oh, can you go in corner with me? Yeah. And if Dave were there, we're like, yeah, you know what I mean? So Thorpe would be tying my gloves, and then there was always somebody there that would do things for you. Because obviously, little things like needing a piss. If you need a piss when you've got your gloves on, right, it doesn't work, right? So you've got to have somebody with you to take your gloves off for you and stuff.
I thought you were going to say have somebody with you.
No, that never happened. Never happened. No, that never happened.
Yeah, but like you said, I think you are a little tight-knit family. So like second family to you going up road, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
It must make you feel more comfortable as well.
It's like I would have never been comfortable not going with my trainer, because we were very good friends. So I wouldn't have been comfortable, and I wasn't when I first did it. But people like Thorpe and Royston made it easy for you. And then you're not bothered. Are you coming this week? Not bothered. Just didn't care, because you've got like a family inside boxing, and that's something that I'll never forget.
But that's still going on now, which I like that. You've got your James Quinns and your Devlins and a lot more Scott Williams and people. I can name a few more. Just like talking to you now about Thorpe and people, I'm glad that that's still going. They need it. They're staying same hotels now. I know they're doing stuff like that, and it must make things for you, like you said, much more easier, much more relaxed.
Because your Sky shows and that were a weekend away. You'd get there on the Friday morning, you get weighed in Friday afternoon, so dinner time is, and then you're done, so you can eat. Because when you've been drying out and lost a stone in last 4 days, and you had a drink of water for 3 days.
We're right bin bags on.
Yeah, with my bin bags on. You're just like, because as soon as you've had that drink and you've had that food, it's all done.
Yeah.
It's all finished. And then the boxing, that's no problem. You want to do that, because there's nothing to do till Saturday night from Friday afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have a walk round, go shopping or whatever, have a little walk round.
Cheeky beer?
No, never. I've never done that. No, not before a fight.
No.
But I would straight away afterwards.
Yeah.
Without water sometimes. First thing I've drank is a beer, but...
Did things the right way then, mate, didn't you?
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. I just couldn't even imagine being drunk and trying to do that. It just would not work.
Did you get a nice call-ups at last minute? We had a few of them.
I once with my daughter, she was 7 or 8, and I was in McDonald's, And Mick phoned me, he says, right, go to Scotland now. I'm on my way to pick you up. He was from Leeds. I had to ring my mum, come and get me young'un.
She's good on that mum of yours, didn't she?
Yeah, so she come and got me young'un and off I went. Because I always had my bag ready when at that point. That night, I was at boxing in Scotland.
Wow. Who'd you fight that night, can you remember?
No, I had a clue now.
He didn't knock you out, though, did he?
No, that's not something that happened very often.
Nice bit of money, though, mate.
Yeah, well, you obviously get a bit more for being late notice as well. And normally, I've got a stunt to lose when I'm finding these things out.
Yeah.
So I normally find out 4 or 5 days in advance, and I've got 4 or 5 days to get that off. Well, they couldn't do that to me because that's not how it works. It doesn't matter that you're 6 pound overweight or whatever it is. You just go, and they sort that.
They were never going to stop you, though, mate. Well,
No.
they had to give you some leeway, didn't they?
Yeah.
Especially at that time.
Yeah.
Come on.
When you're 3 hours and somebody's let them down, it's how it is. You have a bit of an advantage, but it's not always an advantage because
Yeah.
if you're a couple of pound overweight, it means you're a couple of pounds slow,
Mm.
and your hands are slow. So it doesn't always work in your favour. But also, when you've killed yourself for 4 days, you're weak as a kitten,
Yeah.
and it's 6 and 2 threes. Obviously, you'll still be sharpish, and it's that when you're digging deep, there's nothing there.
You were always going to be sharp, though, weren't you, mate? I bet you always kept yourself sharp.
I always kept
didn't you?
myself in
You had
decent
to,
shape,
didn't
yeah. Yeah. Obviously, there were different times.
you? Yeah.
Sometimes I haven't boxed for 3 weeks and I've been absolutely mullering training and I'm sharp as out and there's just nothing happening, happening. And then you think, oh, well, I may as well go out and piss this weekend. So you go out and piss all weekend, Monday, got a fight for you Friday. And that's how it works normally for me. And then Monday comes, oh, we've got you a fight. Yeah.
That's right. I'd used to get weight off.
Bin liners. Yeah,
I knew bin liners.
Bin liners are the thing.
These sweatsuits aren't the same, are they?
No. I've trained in sweatsuits and they're just not the same. It doesn't do it for me anyway. And a lot dearer.
A lot. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just get a bin in the bag, holes in each corner, and all across the top. Put your head through, arms through, you're done. It's insulation.
We've got an idea there, mate, haven't we?
I'll have to try it.
Yeah. Peter
Just
Dunn's bin bags.
Where's in your big bin bags?
Is there any venues out? I mean, obviously you must have been to Huggins or them, but any
Yeah.
like outstanding good ones or bad ones?
York Hall.
York Hall.
When I first went to York Hall, I thought, well, it's a bit of a shithole, this. Because you don't understand the history of it all. And then when you do understand the history, and then you look at it and you're thinking, yeah, I get why this is like that. Because the atmosphere there is special.
Is it?
It's on you.
Right.
Whereas a lot of these arenas, you're miles away.
Yeah.
Even if you're at front, you're still a fair while away. But the balcony's sort of in.
Yeah.
So it's near enough virtually above you. That were an atmosphere. But Scotland were a different kind of atmosphere. That obviously if one at locals were on and you were boxing one at locals,
right.
They were chucking beer at you. You were just getting absolutely drenched walking to the ring. And as soon as they mention your name, ooh,
Yeah.
and it's.
Do you thrive on that? Does it
Yeah.
drive you a bit? Yeah.
Obviously, some people will just go down on things like that, but for me, I loved that. You know what I mean? Especially walking to the ring, everybody's booing you. The whole arena's booing you, and you just, that's for me, that. I'll take
Cool.
that.
I like that.
Definitely, mate. Yeah, I think I'd bottle it, mate. if they're doing that.
Obviously, when they chuck it beer at you, it's not so great.
Yeah, definitely.
What's that? Spillage.
Wasted.
Obviously, I was a landlord as well, so it's just spilling beer.
It is.
I just didn't get it at all, but it were all in plastic cups, so it didn't really hurt or anything like that. I was just getting wet.
At least it would only beer, though, mate.
And a lot of them just chucked the beer rather than the cup as well. As you're walking in, they're all going up on these podiums, so they're just chucking it over thing. You know what I mean?
No escape, mate.
There's no escape, yeah. Because as soon as their mate comes out, it doesn't matter who you are. You're coming out next, you're boxing him, and your enemy, and that's just how it is. And everywhere's different, but you are not the focus.
Yes,
let's say.
you're there to be shot at, mate, aren't you?
Yeah. And you understand that.
Yeah.
Especially when you've been about a bit.
Do you enjoy being a floater at times?
Oh, yes. yeah. When you get there, right, and you've been there all day, because some of the shows will start at like 2 o'clock
Yeah.
in the afternoon. If you're on after 12 and stuff, and you know you're on after 12, that's bad. But when you're a floater, because floater,
it's
it's
awful,
all
innit?
right, but it just means that you've got a chance of not being on last. But if you are on last, then you've got ready 5 times.
Yeah.
You've warmed up twice or 3 times. I want the fittest towards the end. When I was getting warmed up to it, well, no, we're not warming up again. I'm warm. Oh, man.
I bet it were good though if you got calls when you've been in 10, 15 minutes. Oh, Bob on now.
Yeah, if there were a quick knockout, once on his way, and we weren't at the venue, and my trainer got a phone call. How far are you? I said, we're 10 minutes away. He says, right, if you can get here in 10 minutes, you can be on next, and you'll be home for half an hour. So as soon as we stopped at lights, I had to run out, get into the boot, get my bag out, and I'm getting changed it back at car. So I had my boots on, my protector suit, just go through medical, get away and sort it all out, and we're on his way home in an hour.
Brilliant.
Whereas normally sometimes you can be there 8 and 9 hours and still not even boxed yet.
Yeah, that must be a nightmare, that to be last on. It must.
Floaters is probably the worst thing ever, because if you know you're on last, you don't really have to be there early.
That's right.
But if you're a floater, you've got to be there from when it starts. So if it starts at 3 in the afternoon, you're there at 3.
Yeah.
And there's a chance you could be on at 3:30. There's also a chance that you're still going to be on at 12.
Yeah. That must be frustrating.
Yeah.
But it drags a bit, that, doesn't it?
Oh, because you do get warmed up a couple of times. It's like, right, so if one will get stopped and they've got 3 rounds in bank, and then they probably need another one or another 2 to get stopped. So when it gets to 2 stopped and you need one more, it could happen at any point. So if somebody goes on their ass, like everybody, whoa, come on, let's get ready.
But again, people don't know this, do they? So
No.
it's nice to get your opinion on that, mate. I mean, I only scratch surface with German. I do follow them, but like it says, I don't know anything compared to your lads. That's why I want to get your stories.
Being a floater, it's the worst thing ever, because you just never know when it is. You're just guessing.
And we're a floater most of the time, Peter.
Yeah.
Unless obviously coming against someone who at main event.
Yeah, but even then, if your allocated slot is last, you're still last. You know what I mean? You're still got to stay here all day. There's no worse.
Not worse.
Sit them back down, take your gloves off. No point having them on. All right. Especially if you've got your hands done. Your wraps are done and your hands are on. If you've had them on 6 hours, they're not great. You know what I mean? You've been sweating in them. It's not the way.
It's not glamorous, is it, mate?
No, there's no glamour there. And you're just expected to just go at a second's notice.
I think I'd be giggling if I'd been on first and I was seeing with the wraps on.
Yeah.
My bag on, my kit on.
How many times we're doing this?
Yeah.
Especially when you get to know people as well on circuit. And you know that they're going on first and you're like, yeah, see ya.
I think I'd be winning as well if I got on first and knowing that you were still there. But it's not nice.
But there's both ways of it, because when you're on first, there'll be nobody there as well. Because these are 2 o'clock start, some of these. And they're all coming to watch main event, which might not be till 8.
Yeah.
So until 4 or 5 o'clock, there'll be nobody there, or very few. Only the people that are supporting that person that's on them fights coming up. And then as it gets closer to the 8 o'clock mark, that's where Sky used to come on, and that's where our main events are. I boxed before Ricky Hatton once at MEN, and that were an atmosphere and a half, that.
Wow.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah. Is that one of your biggest?
It's not so much the fight, because I don't think the fight were a big one. It was just because of the timings and because everybody were packed in. Like when you're hitting him with a punch and people raw, the whole place were raw. It was like, wow. It was just something I'd not experienced, you know what I mean?
And you're getting a bit of publicity, aren't you? There's millions watching.
Yeah, I mean, I remember coming back to my pub and one of my mates was seen me and he's looking at telly and he's looking at me and he was pissed as well. He's going, yeah, he shook his head at me. I'm like, start watching telly. Fair enough. Couldn't believe I was in 2 places at once.
Brilliant.
But it were a different time. I loved every minute of my journeyman career, every minute of it.
When did you know that it were coming to an end, or did you decide?
Towards the end, it would just come in routine more than anything else. It was just my way of life, and it wasn't hard. I wasn't training as hard as I should have been. I think that was key. You know what I mean? It's not that I didn't want it, but I were getting older. Boxing's not something that you can play at and just keep going at in your 50s. I think my last involvement in any boxing, because I did a bit of white collar after practicing, I was 46 a year ago. So I've still kept fairly fit. But to be fair, I used to have a belly when I was boxing, not when I boxed, because I was skin tight and down to it. But when I was in pub, I always had a beer belly because I drank a lot because I ran pubs. And that's what you do. Now, I don't train and I'm lighter than I've ever been.
Really?
Yeah, because I don't train, so I don't need to eat.
Yeah.
So I don't eat half as much as I used to do.
Yeah, of course.
I've just lost weight naturally.
Have you done now? Are you still keeping your toe in with white collar stuff?
No, I'm done.
Done.
Definitely. Apparently, I'm having a fight at the end of the year, but it's just a move around.
Yeah.
Just for that one.
What's it like, this, white collar stuff, like, compared,
It's no comparison
No, I
whatsoever.
didn't think it would be,
but you don't expect it to be.
No.
These are people in pub that are trying to have a go. If they've got 30, 40 mates who are all going to buy tickets, you can't knock it.
No, of course not.
And there's some decent lads among them. You do box some of them and you think, oh, they're decent standard here. And then you'll box others that are definitely not. But I think that's the biggest difference between amateur, professional, and then this white collar. I think it's a money-making exercise, obviously, but so is everything.
Yeah.
Unless your amateur days, there's no money involved in amateur really at all. And when you can sell tickets as an amateur, that's for your club. And you do that with pride.
You're still in a gym then, mate, now? You still go see kids?
I still go to Nottingley SYD club, which is the club I used to box. It's not in the same place anymore, but it's the same club. When my trainer died, my friend who I trained with, he trained with me with the same age. He's took it over now, so I do help him out whenever I can.
Yeah, that's good, because you've got so much to pass on, mate.
Yeah, definitely. When I were at his gym and I'm teaching some of the young ones about how I can tell them when they're going to throw a punch by staring at the feet.
That'll stick to me.
Because I would have never known that if I'd have never become a journeyman. I've been in that position millions of times, but I'd never have thought of it. You know that not only can you get out, there's a good chance you can come back in and give them a clout and all. It's a free shot, basically.
Yeah.
It's all learning.
I know you boxed in Jersey.
I've been there a few times.
Was it nice?
Yeah. It's always nice. It's Jersey's lovely.
Never been, but it looks lovely.
On a night out, it's not the busiest of places, but it's like anywhere else. It's absolutely gorgeous park.
It looks gorgeous.
But there's some shitholes.
Well, I've only seen it on Berger at me, that's it.
Yeah. I went there as a kid, through Yorkshire team. I'd been in Jersey about 4 or 5 times before I turned pro, and it's just a lovely place, and that's what I got from it. But everybody else, all my training, that were levered. So and they were like, well, because you're a kid, I was 12, 13-year-old when I'm going there, so I didn't understand any of that. And that was the first place I got drunk. I was about 16, and I was levered. And they're all like, you can't come out of the room. And I'm spewing up. And we're like, we're going to get fucked off for this. We're going to get fucked. They're like, no, we'll be all right.
So about any names we should look out for? Do you know? I mean, obviously I know you'll keep your toe in, you know who's about, but any coming through ranks at the minute, or
no, I don't follow it that well to be
fair enough.
saying out like that. But obviously your AJs and such forth. I thought AJ were going to be the man.
Yeah, I did actually.
I thought he was going to be the man, but it don't look as though he's good. I think it's his chin more than anything else, because he's got the physique, obviously, and he's got the power. That's not a problem.
Speed, isn't it?
It's just when he gets hit, he don't look comfortable.
Yeah.
No, we were in Sheffield that night, weren't we? You took me to. What did we go to watch?
James Metcalf.
James Metcalf, and they had fight on after, and he just didn't look interested to me.
It was shocking.
AJ, I was surprised.
Anybody put you on your ass? Who shocked you?
Craig Smith.
Craig Smith?
Yeah.
Never expected it.
I was going to hit him, and then all of a sudden my legs had just gone. I didn't get to it, boom, and he just hit me, and he'd gone.
Yeah.
But I got back up and wandered on, and that was more luck than judgment, because I didn't know the old, I'll wait till 6 and 7, there was none of that going on. Mm-hmm. It was just like, boom, whoa, what's going on here? And then, I best get up here. It was the sharpness and everything.
Yes.
Another one here, Ali Numbembe, right, he was just...
Yeah, I know him.
Non-stop, stupid fit. Like that bloke, it wasn't even blowing when he'd done with me, and I couldn't breathe. Honestly, he were really good.
What biggest punch you've faced, do you think?
Well, that Craig Smith.
Holyface Smith.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever been hit like that before. No. Oregon. I mean, Gary Young, he was meant to be a banger.
Yeah.
But I didn't think so. So I don't know whether he wasn't feeling great or I don't know. He was sponsored by whoever, an electrical company.
Right.
And it said, Gary Young sparks them out and will turn you back on again. Yeah, cheers, mate.
Brilliant.
Now, one I want to mention, mate, Lee Noble.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he was just a nice bloke.
Yeah.
Because he was good, him.
Yeah.
And obviously when I boxed him, it was towards his end of his career sort of thing. And he still had it. And he didn't take piss, ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, with me anyway. He was better than me.
Yeah.
And could have done a lot more and didn't.
Yeah.
And you know things, because you know, and you've watched him against other people.
Yeah.
And you know that when he's pushed back and had to do it, he could have gone to town. And he didn't. You know what I mean? Because he just needed the win to get him onto his next fight or whatever. And you do find that with a lot of the better ones.
Yeah. I do regret not having a coffee out with him because obviously what happened.
Yeah,
Really sad.
Yeah.
And he was a great guy and so strong. I mean, I met him at his last fight and he come up to me at the end and he come and got my hand. And he must have done it on purpose. And he got my hand and squeezed. I thought, fuck, I don't swear much, but fucking hell, that hurt. I thought, he's done that on purpose.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But yeah, he were always fit, always made time for when you were out. I mean, I didn't know him much, but he knew I liked boxing. He'd always come and say, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, a character. And we
Not
miss
many
him.
of them
We
are
miss
back
him.
now.
Yeah, we miss him.
I think it's probably because I'm not in it. You know what I mean? Because all these characters weren't on telly.
Yeah.
So I only see it on telly now. So
Yeah.
I'm not at shows anymore. So I don't see it. That's something I do miss. And that's something I think I will start doing again. You know what I mean? Just going around shows and
Well, we
especially
are
local.
We're
Come to Metrodome with us.
Come, we're going, yeah. Do you know, breaking news as well,
What?
James Metcalf's now finished boxing.
He's working at Garrison, trying what they do last week.
Yep. I can't
He's
believe
backed in
it.
already.
He's backed in.
I thought he looked
Like I
really
said,
good that second time.
I think Peter would like to see him. He'd have been definitely a Peter kind of fighter.
He would, yeah.
But I'll have to.
I was impressed that second fight.
Yeah, I think he got 3-0, hadn't he? And
Yes.
I'm a bit surprised about that now. We haven't got many left now over here, mate.
No.
See,
Wade just stopped, didn't
obviously, I did a lot of my fights in Birmingham,
Mm.
he? All right.
right? And you've got to remember that Nobby Nobbs is from Birmingham. All he does is journeyman. It's all he's ever done is journeyman.
Where is Nobby Nobbs? Nobody knows.
Well, back in when I were boxing, he were the man. All his lads were journeymen. Every single one of them, and he had 30-40. But I was still getting work in Birmingham, me, so I know I did all right.
Yeah.
Because you don't sell coal in Newcastle, you know what
No,
I mean?
yeah.
It's just,
We had Buckley and all, didn't he?
yeah. Different world, that's leaps and miles above me.
No, it's not, mate. Not really.
Honest.
I don't think it is, mate. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, he didn't box loads more stars than me, maybe, but it's the amount of fights he had were
Amazing, isn't there?
But to be fair, we probably had about the same sort of fights. It's just I've done a lot of mine at white collar.
Yeah. I don't think he ever did that, Buckley, did he?
No,
No.
because it was still pro. That's why.
Yeah.
He didn't pack in pro till it must have been knocking on.
It's a cracking book, though, mate.
Yeah.
But yeah, everyone just says now that Nobby's just gone off the scene.
Has he just disappeared?
Just disappeared. Where is this Nobby?
He might come back as a woman. You never know.
Well, he might be, yeah.
Stranger things have happened, apparently.
Ah, Noreen Nobbs, eh? I bet he looked after you all, didn't he?
We won't treat her as journeyman because he didn't treat anybody's journeyman because
Yeah.
they're all journeymen. So he treat everybody the same. And there's not many do that. I mean, Dave Caldwell, he definitely does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If I met Dave Caldwell tomorrow, he'd be like, "Oh, you're all right, Pete," because we got on well.
I didn't like me when I turned up with Wager top on to get a fight with Lee Appleyard for, for English with Wager. Well, in fact, he loved it, actually. He loved it with James McDonnell and that were there. It was great. But yeah,
'Cause obviously Sheffield, everybody thinks at Winkerbank, don't they? And,
yeah.
and out of Sheffield, that's where you are. And if you're not there, you're not to do with it, sort of thing.
I said Lee Noble were at Ingles, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Rumour I heard that he were down at Frank's gym at Pontefract Road. Frank says, I just can't handle him. Do you want to take him, Brendan? And Brendan took him, and he says he just took to him like a duck to water. He says he just absolutely loved him.
Yeah.
He says...
Because who's training you matters. It does matter.
And he just said, he says, I want to go for horse's mouth, but what I heard, obviously Ingles rung Frank up and said, thank you for sending him, we'll love him, we think he's a right character. And again, that word again, character.
Yeah.
You don't get enough in it now. Not just in boxing, in any sport.
Yeah.
You need characters in every sport, and
It's just sound bites now, isn't it?
You're hated for being a character nowadays.
Well, I'd rather be a character and hated, mate.
You look at Fury, how many people just hate him because he speaks his mind, and he's a bit of a character. It's not my cup of tea, definitely not. But I don't hate him at all. You know what I mean? He's a money man. He's a money making machine.
And he's a clever one at that, isn't he? I mean,
Fine. I know what he's doing.
What's he had? I mean,
You're a bum.
if you go 3 years now, like calls him Dossers, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But is it like, if you go back 3 years now, I mean, Wilder 3 times, and then he fought that, I don't know his name, that kid who he fought in, it was a bit of a joke, wasn't it, at weighing, when they just were picking him up, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So really, he's gone and fought Wilder. Yeah, I must admit, it were a dangerous fight to
It was
take.
a risk, definitely.
Massive. I think after the first fight, he caught him and he got up somehow. Still don't know how he got up from that.
No.
I think he always knew he had his number after the first fight.
Yeah, I think that was that.
So it really the amount of money he must have made. But I don't know if there's anyone out there who can beat Fury. I mean, I'm a big fan of Dylan White, but I don't think Dylan White will beat him.
Well, I think he deserves a go.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I just don't understand how he's not been given a go.
Well, part of that's because them 3 fights they've had, isn't it?
Yeah.
See what WBC he was mandatory for years, wasn't it?
Well, it still is, isn't it?
Yes.
Apparently.
So, but no, I've always liked Dylan.
And it's somebody else in front of him again.
Yeah.
They're just like, you'll just stay there.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough with them 3 fights because you're against the same person. But now it's not. Where's his go?
Yeah.
I just don't get that. It's just not fair.
But he's my favourite, Dylan White. I do, as a character. Again, that word.
He seems more of a normal folk.
He is. Well, he's come up from gutter, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And I like Dylan White, and he
That's
deserves
me.
a shot.
I'm a council estate lad. I've lived in a council estate all my life.
Nothing wrong with that, mate, at all. Nothing at all.
What makes a good fight, Pete?
You've got to have 2 people that want to win. Because if you've got 2 technical boxers, really technical boxers, they're thinking all the time instead of doing all. In a way, that's good to watch, especially if you do like boxing. That is what you'd want to watch. But the best fights for me are 2 lads that hate each other, that just want to hit each other. Not, I don't want to win technically, I just want to level him. That's what you want to see, because they know what they're doing as well. So it's not as though they're just throwing punches. There's skills involved, and that is the best sort of fight, where they're both wanting every bit of way to win.
I think Belly what master, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Get inside people's heads.
Yeah.
He, you know what I mean? He could sell
Fury
a
is
fight.
good at it, to be fair.
Yeah,
but
Fury.
That's the someone I'm going to come out with.
he's better at that than he is at boxing for me. That's the thing. So, because I think if another cruiserweight gets in, or somebody lower, like a David A or something like that, I think David A could come back and smash him.
I don't think he didn't fancy Usyk next, did he?
I don't think anybody would.
No,
'Cause
he looked quite good at it.
He's a cruiserweight that can make
make
heavyweight.
heavyweight,
That's the thing. Because he's technically better than them all. Because heavyweight scene, they haven't been a good technical boxer since Klitschko. Getting classed as technical should be how good your skills are, not how tall you are. Fury, him, they are what they are because they're taller than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't learnt that. They've just grown. That's it. Usyk is smaller than them all and would wipe the floor with a lot of them. I think he'll dominate heavyweight boxing. I think he will be the dominant force in heavyweight boxing. And he's a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
So imagine what he'd do at cruiserweight.
Ah.
You know, if he went back to his own weight, he's not going to do that because you don't get paid out at
That's it.
cruiserweight.
It's all heavyweight, isn't it?
It's all money's at heavyweight, so he's got to do that. But I think he's more than capable. I don't think any of these could beat him.
No.
Any of them.
I'd like to see him
Some fight.
in with Fury.
Yeah.
But
The problem with it is if he gets proper whacked because he's a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
But he shouldn't get hit.
Yeah.
Because I've boxed cruiserweights before, as is. I was like 11 stone.
Did you?
Yeah, so I've not boxed them, but I sparred with them.
Yeah.
So Paul Bonson,
Yeah. What a guy.
I can see everything. He can't hit me with a full shot. He can catch me with jabs and flicks, but he can't put his power into a shot and hit me, because I'd have to be blind to not move out of the way for that, because there's that much of a difference in speed.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I see it coming and I can just move out of the way. So it was never a problem of sparring together, because I can see him coming, no problem. When I'm getting tired, then it comes a problem. But he would never a bully, so we never had problems with out like that. If he caught me, he'd just like leave me and chuck me into the corner sort of thing, and then lean on me, and then we'll just stay there for a couple of seconds until I've sorted myself out, and then we'll go on again. It were the difference in that much weight, because it's not a little bit of weight, 5 stop.
Yeah. A lot of weight, mate, that.
It's like a featherweight boxing a super middleweight. Right? The speed, a featherweight, he would nearly double his punches. I guarantee he would.
Yeah.
So his reactions are millions times bigger than his. And that's what's going on now. Usyk, he can see everything happening. Not only is he absolutely shit hot, he can see what's happening with these heavyweights long before they can do out. That's why he's doing how he's doing, because he's just so much fitter than them, so much faster than them, and just lighter than them. But he can take the punches, because obviously you're going to get hit. Nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? You are going to get hit in a fight. That's how it works. Yeah. So as long as he can take the heavyweight punches, as in jabs and 1-2s, as long as he can take them, he's not going to get hit with a big shot. He'd have to be blind to get hit with him.
I don't think fight will happen with him and Fury.
No.
Well, I think
I'm done, mate.
that's we're done. I think thanks for coming, Pete. Appreciate it, mate.
Absolutely, mate.
The Journeyman Cave is produced by James Proud. Music by Ryan Carrier. Special thanks to Rhythm Inc. Studios for hosting. All views expressed are of the guests only. The Journeyman Cave and host bear no responsibility for any opinions given. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @The Journeyman Cave.